channel, boys and girls, girls and boys, you know, everyone watching. Welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can read in the title, I am going to be talking about how to set boundaries with your parents. And first I'm going to talk about what inspired this, and then just kind of give you 3 practical tips to apply to your life if you're someone that is just kind of struggling with setting those boundaries with your parents. I know it can definitely be something that feels just kind of awkward almost, or weird, or maybe it's really challenging for you. There could be lots of emotions that come with it. So yeah, I'm going to share a little bit of my own personal experience with it and things that have helped me that I hope can in turn help you, the listener. So, all right, sit back, have some girl talk. So grab some coffee, some tea, some snacks, whatever, and chillax, and hopefully you learn something. So basically, I'll get right into it. So this idea was inspired today as I was in the bathroom randomly with some random girl, I don't know. I had lots of bathroom talks with girls today. All the best conversations are in the bathroom with random girls you don't know. But anyway, she had just commented on my hair, and she just said that she liked my hair color, and I wasn't expecting the conversation to go anywhere. It just was like, oh, like, thank you, like, cool, that's typical comment. Then she kept talking to me, and I was like, okay, I feel like this girl just like really wants to talk to me. And I'll get that a lot, like just random people out and about. I'll be just talking, or they'll make a comment to me, and then they just like pour their heart out to me. Complete strangers, people I've never met before. So I don't know, sometimes I just feel like God puts me in certain situations at certain times for a reason. And so after she kind of kept making more comments and things, I was just kind of like caved. I was like, okay, I'm going to be talking to this girl, so cool. So we started talking about hair, and she was just saying how she really wanted to dye her hair and all these things, and she really liked the color blue. She really wanted to dye her hair blue, but basically how her mom hated it, didn't want her to touch her hair, didn't want her to dye her hair, and that her mom would get really mad at her. And also she was showing me the tattoos she had gotten that looked awesome, by the way, and super suited her, looked great on her. But she was just saying how her mom got so mad at her when she got her tattoos, and just kind of like all these self-expression, in my opinion, pretty harmless things she wanted to do, but she was just kind of allowing her mom, so a parent, to dictate what she felt she could do. And just truly, I feel like being who she wanted to be, like just her most authentic self. And when I was first talking to her, I thought maybe she was in high school. So I was like, okay, that's annoying. Like, my mom actually didn't let me dye my hair until I was 18. But at the same time, I also kind of understood. I was like, well, I'm technically still a child. I'm not an adult. I'm living under her roof, my parents' roof, so I'll just obey their little rules in the meantime. And then when I'm 18 and I'm free, I'm gonna do whatever the freak I want. So whatever. But anyway, I thought she was maybe in high school. So I was like, okay, annoying, but understandable. So I asked her, I was like, are you in high school? And she was like, no. She didn't say it like, no, idiot. She just said no. And I was like, oh, are you in college? And she's like, yeah. And I didn't get her exact age or whatever. But I don't know. It just was like, I didn't say a lot to her as far as, because obviously it's just kind of a hard place. But I just straight up felt like she was like looking to me as like big sister in that moment, kind of. And I was just like, well, I'm like, you are in college, you are technically an adult, you are 18. I was like, I know it's hard, but your mom's still gonna love you. Just basically to the whole like dyeing her hair blue thing. 'Cause you could just tell, I'm a complete stranger to her in the bathroom, and she's just going on and on about like how much she wants to dye her hair blue and just how exciting that would be, and just all these like little other self-expression things she wants to do. And I was like, girl, like, you want to do this, like, do it, But anyway, so that's kind of what got me thinking. And I'm always thinking about stuff like this because I am extremely passionate about this boundaries topic and just girl related topics, like empowering girls for multiple different reasons. And so I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of talk about it more on my YouTube channel and share some tips that will hopefully help you if you're someone that is struggling with setting boundaries with your parents. Because I think just about everyone has at some point or currently is. And honestly, a lot of people I talk to, I don't think that they're even aware that they're essentially allowing a parent to still control their life. And I know this is such a hard topic because it can just get really gray in some areas just because they are technically your parents. But honestly, like, once you're 18, you're an adult. You can make your own decisions. And two, I know sometimes, unfortunately, parents will kind of play the parent card and use the parent card as a way to manipulate their children. And this is just real life, real talk. If you grew up with great parents and they were super healthy and they had great intentions, that's amazing and that's a huge blessing, and I would not take that for granted. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't have those type of parents, and maybe even parents that aren't intentionally being malice towards their children or manipulative, but are still kind of controlling them and still really facilitating their child's life or their adult's life in this example that isn't necessary or appropriate anymore. And so what I want to get into is kind of telling you, or not telling, I guess telling you, but like helping you overcome that. If you're someone that, I know it's just like a hair dye example, it could be anything in life. Like maybe it's your career choice, maybe it's where you live, maybe it's who you date, maybe it's your favorite music choices, just anything, to not only pinpoint maybe areas that you're allowing your parents in this example to control how you live your life, but then how to communicate that to them in a way that can be still loving but assertive, and letting them know, like, I love you, but this isn't okay, kind of thing. So the first tip I'm going to give you to kind of help you overcome this is basically just pinpointing what you want your boundaries to be. And how you find your boundaries is think of things that you want to do or don't want to do that, in a sense, bother you when one of your parents is trying to tell you the opposite. So again, I'm just using hair dye example, but let's say it's you dyeing your hair and you are 18 and your mom or your dad or whoever is like, no, don't do that. Like, blah. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten the talk or looks or passive aggressive comments or whatever, unfortunately, from my parents about me dyeing my hair, which I literally just find funny because it's just such an innocent thing to do. It's not like I'm out shooting up drugs. But you know, like, it just happens. And now they have learned, like, through the years that you can make your comments, but like, I don't care. Number one, I do what I want. And number two, I basically told them to like stop making those comments. So just keep it to themselves. Like, I really don't care. But anyway, so basically pinpoint what you want your boundaries to be. Again, they could be a lot of things. Another one was like piercing, like my nose ring. Didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. Ironically, also tattoos. I don't know why tattoos are such a thing for parents, but it must be a generational thing to an extent. But yeah, parents didn't like the tattoos, like, think they're just the worst things in the world. Or maybe, I know I'll talk to a lot of girls, a lot of younger people, especially college age, it's a career choice. Usually it's like something in the family, maybe there's doctors in the family or lawyers or dentistry or whatever, and they just got to carry on the family tradition, and that person hates that or has no interest in it, has a passion for music or art or just something totally unrelated, like retail sales or just anything that they want, and they're like, well, like my mom or my dad is gonna get so mad at me if I don't do that, like whatever it is. Find where you're being kind of like shape shifted a little bit in areas that you don't want to be. So I would encourage maybe just sitting and writing them down, like, okay, so my hair, piercings, tattoo, my career choice, who I'm dating, where I want to live, just anything that maybe you've kind of got into little arguments with your parents before, write those down. And then once you've discovered what exactly it is that bothers you or that you don't want, oh, another really big one, can't believe I forgot about this, but is body, like your body image. Like literally makes me so angry, but how many, especially as a personal trainer, I talk to so many girls and their parents or dads will just rip them to shreds about their body and want them to eat this or not eat this or be working out this many times or not this many times, or telling them they need to be losing another 15 pounds, or why are you wearing a swimsuit, you're not in shape, for like just horribly cruel things that you should never ever 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 say to your child. I can't even like fathom. Like if my dad made a comment, like I would just be so angry. But anyway, yeah, maybe it's your body and your parents are constantly commenting on your body. Write that down. So get that, compile the list. And then from there, figure out what you want to say to your parents. So I'm trying to think back to the first times that I started articulating my boundaries, which really wasn't that long ago. Maybe only 6 or 7 years ago was when I first became aware. Even that's what I'm talking about too. I don't even think some people are aware where when my parents or other family members would make passive aggressive comments about different things in my life, I would just kind of like, I'd hear it and it'd bother me, but I was just so used to so many other things happening that it seemed so minor, where I just wouldn't really even think to do anything about it, and I just kind of moved on. But did I even need to be hearing? Like, no, absolutely not. And so, yeah, since then, definitely they know where I stand with basically everything in life. But so let's think of what to say to your parents. So I'm trying to think with like the hair, because the hair is ironically a really big one for me too, where my mom especially still hates when I dye my hair, but oh well. But I'm trying to think. So I remember just saying you could be super nice about it, but also just like stern, where like, I love you, Mom, but I'm gonna do what I want to my hair. I like dyeing my hair. I think it's fun. I think it's artistic. I like how my hair looks, and it's okay if you don't like how my hair looks, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't, that you keep those comments to yourself. Like, I don't want to hear it. Period. End of story. Now, I had said something like that almost verbatim over and over to my mom, specifically, to my dad and other things too. But just saying it kind of in a way that's still compassionate and lets them know, like, hey, I know you don't like this, and that's okay, but I do, and that is also okay. And I'm sorry, but just because you're my parent does not mean at all that you have any sort of governance over how I live my life. Like, I can love you, you can love me, and we can still be two separate people living two separate lives, have different interests, different hobbies, different everything, and that's okay. I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't wear, how you should or shouldn't do your hair, like what you have on your skin, just different things like that. Like, I don't care. Like, why would I care? You're a whole different person. You're not me. Why would I care about that? And so just kind of stating stuff like that and figuring out the different areas, like I said, that have bothered you, and then just basically articulating it in the same way but with a different topic. And then, which kind of leads me to my last point, is reinforcing those boundaries. Like I said, with the hair example, I don't know how many times I have no idea, but years, maybe the first 2 or 3 years of saying things, I would have to restate it and just be like, no, it's not okay when you say this. I don't want to hear it. It's mean, and I'm not interested in your opinion. End of story. And there were times where it's like, I feel like when you start saying stuff like that, they're just people that want to press your boundaries, they're not used to it. And especially parents, they just kind of think that they have some sort of authority over your life. And maybe when you're a child, yes, of course, but once you're 18, no, they don't. Doesn't mean you need to be rude and disrespectful and say all these things, but when it comes to minor things in life or how you want to live your life, you are your own person, and remember that. And it's okay to live your life as if you are your own person and you're making your own decisions and have your own opinions, etc. And so when you're reinforcing your boundaries, practice communicating that. I know, like I said, the first probably 2 or 3 years, I would just keep communicating it. I would keep saying it, or I wouldn't like react to it. Like sometimes I just think people say things just because they're mean and they're trying to be a bully and just kind of like passive aggressively get under your skin and be kind of cruel. And so there were times with maybe something with my dad in this example where I would say something and he wouldn't listen and I would just leave. Like, I love you, but I'm not staying, I'm not sticking around for something that is harming me kind of emotionally. And same with my mom too. Like if she would say things or do things, sometimes I would literally just pick up my stuff and leave. And they have learned now there's just certain things that they can't do or say around me because I will either like verbally react by saying like, hey, that's not okay, like stop. Or if they're not listening, then I'm like, cool, then I'm going to leave. Like I don't need to be here. And so I know, like I said, every person's experience, every person's relationship with their parents is different across the board. And so I'm hoping if you're listening, like I would obviously hope for more people to have healthy and just a good, open, accepting relationship with their parents. But unfortunately, I'd say more than not, either have one or two parents that just, are harder to navigate life with in these type of areas sometimes. And that's okay. Like, you can't help the cards you were dealt. And so you can help how you react to it, though, and how you stick up for yourself and how you articulate things that are okay with you and that are not okay with you. And I just want to really encourage you that, like, you can do it. And it might feel kind of uncomfortable at first, but, and not, honestly, they might get mad. Like, definitely, both my parents at different times would get really mad at me for certain things. And, like, it's sad, but it is kind of a manipulation tactic where it's like, you're mad because I don't want to be this career. I don't want to do this career. I have no desire. This is literally my life, what's going to be paying my bills for however many years, and I want to do this. But you're mad at me because that doesn't make any sense. And like I said, so many different examples it could be used for, but just let them be mad. I remember it's so weird to think back on this and different emotions I used to have to different reactions, but that would really bother me because I wanted to have like a loving relationship with my parents in different areas, or I wouldn't want to upset them. I'm not someone who intentionally wants to stir the pot and make someone mad, but I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, and I remember that feeling really confusing for me for a really long time because I was like, why are you mad at me for like not wanting to do this thing or wanting to do this thing that is just honestly quite harmless. And so if you're someone in that position too, and kind of just starting to have some of these epiphany moments like, oh, this really isn't a big deal, and this girl that I'm talking to in the bathroom, she's, if I had to guess, she'd probably be 19 or 20, that just wants to dye her hair blue. She didn't even want to do her whole head. She just wanted to do her tips. And I just was like, you should be able to do that and not fear what your mom, I can't, and not think that you're like a terrible person for wanting to do something like that. So anyway, this is kind of a long roundabout way of saying all that, but I really want to encourage you to practice, to learn how to communicate, in this example, to your parents. This could be anything. This could be your boyfriend, your friends, your coworkers, your boss, whatever. But parents are a big one, and I'd say, honestly, any type of family can be some of the hardest relationships to navigate sometimes, just because for most people, they're the closest to home in your heart. They're the people that can get under your skin the most, but that doesn't mean that you have to change everything about yourself just to please someone. Like, I would so much rather someone be mad at me and me just be being myself than someone be happy and me feel like I'm compromising for who I truly am. Like, I don't have time for that anymore in my life at all, ever really, but especially with certain things and as I've aged. So I hope this encourages you. I hope this empowers you. If you have any questions or just want, I don't know, like one-on-one talks with maybe a certain situation you're in with a parent, feel free to comment down below or message me. Yeah, you could also get a hold of me on my Instagram. It's the same handle as my YouTube, the Imaginigma77. So feel free to DM me there, but I'm here for you. I'll say some prayers for you and just pray that conversations can go well and that you can feel like you're your own person, but ideally still have a good relationship with your parents. So there's that. And lastly, of course, if you like this video, I would so appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm really trying to grow it. And my next goal is 1,000 subscribers. I'm doing one video every day in the month of September, so I'll be here lots. And yeah, if you watch this video and feel like there's a friend or family member or someone that could benefit from this, feel free to share. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.